And so we want to bring to you live, though we're coming so late, here around the Baki area, specifically along the Somalia Drive Road, where there have been some land dispute leading to residents, burning of tires, destruction of police vehicles and what have you. As you can see here, residents are trapped in their numbers along the main Japan Freeway, specifically around the Gunfire area, where we understand our family is claiming from Jamaica Road all the way to the Gunfire belt, claiming ownership to this land. And so
so where were you when all these things, when people were coming developing the land, when the people came to the place and developed land, that mansion you see over there, you see that mansion over there? So if just let it clean the land, what become of that person? And not the only mansions, there are so many mansions, there are so many land, beautiful houses that we have built in the community. What become of that? So this is the point, this is the place where government needs to come in. I think the government needs to make a policy, to make a law that when people occupy land for over 10 to 15 years and nobody comes to clean the land, you cannot just come from the blue sky from nowhere and say you have the land. That is wrong, and this can be led to national tragedy, because what is going on in the country, people are getting agitated on a daily basis with the land dispute, land issues and all of that. Not only this community, it happened to a lot of communities. It happened to New Jersey area, it happened to Chinatown, it happened to so many places, and we saw it happening. And people are really getting agitated. And when the people get together, when the people get agitated and they stand up for the right, it's going to be a disaster. So this alone can lead to national tragedy. So government needs to come in. Government needs to come in. The historicity of the land alone is something that nobody will want to think that a lady who sat somewhere for over 30 years, you didn't make any move, you didn't make any claim. People have developed the land, built mansions, built houses, settled down. When our parents moved in this community, I grew up in this community. When our parents moved here, I had a little sister who was just a baby. Now she about 33 years. So what was the lady? This is the issue. Let's forget about the legitimate aspect of the land. That's what about who owns the land. But where were you when the people settled on the land? Now not 5 years, I think we're talking about, now not 6 years, now not 4 years, now not 3 years. We're talking about over 30 years. Where were you?
How would you love to have this entire thing settled? Maybe a settlement of the residents here to leave the place.
So that's why I'm calling over the government. I'm not impacted to what is happening here today to the disaster. Okay. That's why I'm calling over on the government. Maybe they can retrieve and find another way around to see how best they can meet the community leaders. Because what is happening here with the community youth, I think the community leaders have absolute authority and control over the youth. We can all go back to status quo and call on the community leaders, call on the youth and see where we can sit on the table and talk about this thing. I think that will be a perfect resolution to the whole thing that is happening. I'm not in favor of that, and I'm not in favor of the government coming and carrying out the kind of disaster and chasing community youth leaders and taking people out of the houses, beating them, as I'm aware that some community residents were beating. You understand? Were beating, pushed out of the houses, were wounded, and they are there in the community. As I speak now, my family in the community, in the house, they are locked in. You understand? I'm thinking about how to move in to get them. Because I was just called this morning.
The police, are you being prevented?
Yeah, I can go in. I can go in. They called me this morning, I couldn't come. I mean, they called me this morning, and when I came, I see the whole situation. I can't even go in. Okay? I didn't want to come with my vehicle. It was good that I didn't come because by this time we're talking about it being destroyed. Because the last time it happened, I came and I used this route and I went in, but it was not as it is now. This one is this one is disastrous.
So proud to today, how you received any court order of eviction?
I understand that there was a sheriff. So once a sheriff appears, it means that there's a court order, court mandate is being given. So the fact that sheriff came, it means court order came. But I learned that over yesterday, over the night, the community chairman and town crier have been announcing that the police will be coming. But it was just yesterday. It's a short time. It's a short time. Okay? The thing happened the last time, it was resolved. We took lawyer and we went around and they took all the weight. So you cannot come in.
So I thought they told you did not come back to you.
You cannot come at this time now within a short notice and just want to get us out of the place by force. They cannot work like that.
How many horses are we talking about? What's the acre of land?
Well, you can see that. You can just by seeing the community, you know, from here all the way to that, all the way to the other area there. So it's a vast, you know, land we are talking about here. It's a very big land we are talking about here, and they occupy over 25,000 residents. Over 25,000 residents. Okay? They are the ones that are coming to be displaced today. If what we see here today, you know, manifests. If the actions we see here today by the police, you know, is successful, over 25,000 residents will be displaced. So this is an issue that the government needs to look at. This makes sense enough for the government to come in. Okay, that makes sense enough for the government to come in. So we are calling on the government to come in right now. I personally supported the government, use resources, making sure that this government gives the power. So at this point, you know, the government must come in. The government must come in. I got friends in the government, I got other people in the government. I am not in the government, I'm a private citizen, I got my business doing for which I decided not to get into government, to get involved with government job. So my benefit now should be this. I'm calling on all of those who are my colleagues in the government to talk to the higher up and making sure that
how many families?
We make sure that this government gives the power. My sweat equity were involved, my resources were involved, and a lot more than I pour in to make sure that Joseph Boakai came to power. I always told people, I'm a politician of the United Party, if you caught me now, the blood that comes on is the blood of Joseph Boakai. So at this point, he needs to come in to make sure that the partisans, that hard one, who are crying, okay, who are crying because this is something that is very agitating and frustrating.
Why are
you understand? I got
president?
my family down there. Of course, I partly live here and that's somewhere else that I am, or where I reside, or I come here on a daily basis. Sometimes I come and eat here. Day before yesterday, now I slept here. So the government needs to come in. I'm involved in the president because I'm a supporter of the president. I'm a partisan of the Unity Party. I support this government. I spend resources. I get everything. Okay? I'm not working with government. I'm a private man. I do my private business. I don't want to work for government, which I refuse. But at this point, the government needs to come in because there's so much reason for the government to come in.
Okay, reason for the government to come in.
Yeah.
The Scoffle saw the destruction of police vehicles, residents throwing stones, blocking the movement leading towards town from the Japan Freeway. How do you make up it, and what was your own advancement to these residents throwing stones?
I have said that previously. I said I am not in favor of the provocation. I'm not in favor of the stone that were thrown at the police. I'm against it and I condemn it. And I'm not in favor of the police actions to cause chaos, to come here and try to remove our people forcibly without being informed, you know, within no time. That is wrong.
So another resident wants to talk to me. Good afternoon. I don't know whether it's still good afternoon. Okay, good afternoon anyway.
Yeah, we are in the afternoon.
Yeah, tell us what's your name.
I'm Alex. Yeah, anyway, I'm Alex Doyen.
Tell us your own perspective of
my contribution today, though I'm not living in a residence to where the incident occurred. But my advice here is what I expected the police should have done.
You understand? So when she said that,
okay, why I expected?
I can still remember that.
Yeah. Why I
I
expected?
still remember that. You understand? So that was the first
Yeah. Why I expected the police to have done?
I
I live for issues like this. Okay, what would you understand? This lady in question, she said that this family is all the way to red light. It's for her. All the way to red light. Red light. Red light. And so had your one person and had your one person inside the area. So what the policeman advise here is, all they should have done is to take this woman, come, let go somewhere and investigate the matter. So make sure she put that document. While the residents are in ESA, you'll take us somewhere, you'll be there, and take us somewhere and question. Then, for, something like that to go out there, and walk with advancing. And if you're not happy, they should not have done that. Don't think they let it in question who said they let it. Carry her somewhere, and question her, and let her prove her document. Investigate the matter. And those residents, let them be there until then when it's proving that indeed the play is for her, because if you find it, where you find that people walking, no way, traffic all black, it was just easy. Take them.
So since when you got the first notice that this place belongs to someone? When was the first time you got this notice?
Today.
You understand there was a court order before.
Fine, now I have stated that for me, I'm not living in the residence, but it's just my advice that what the police were done is to take the woman somewhere, and investigate her. While the residents are staying here, instead of just shooting down there, creating panic, people running up and down.
For you,
it was just easy because an individual take us somewhere and say, okay, we don't investigate the matter. Can we a document and then put a question to see how it looks like to prove, that the place is for you. Well, individual will walk away on the tear gas and all that. The police don't done that. That is my advice. That's what they should have done.
Okay. Yeah. So that's your own thought of the matter.
That's my advice.
Okay. So I still here just around the Battery Factory area, just after the Stoughton Creek Bridge. Someone, a family is claiming ownership. We understand from the Stoughton Creek Bridge all the way to some parts of Kingsville. And that has agitated several residents of the community, and it was a serious scuffle here this morning with residents setting roadblocks, burning tires, and even destroying police property. So we are still here. Officers of the Liberia National Police are being deployed on the scene, and the police have tried to restore calm. So unlike before, so level calm has been restored. Yeah. And so we still here. You, my all of you so that I mean the apples is sensitive. The apples are best. And as you can see, officers of the riot unit of the Liberia National Police, specifically the emergency response unit of the LNP, patrolling the entire community. This is the main point of contention from the Stoughton Creek Bridge going all the way to Battle Fachu. We understand has been the most contentious area here. The police are all in this community trying to carry out their mandate as perhaps instructed by the court.